We bless the name of the living God for another opportunity to share His word with each other. How are you doing today? I'm Pastor Mrs. Tolu Okusoyan, and our topic for today is titled Love, the Fruit of the Holy Spirit. That's love, the fruit of the Holy Spirit. Now, many people have felt love in one way or the other. Perhaps parents to children, and vice versa, spouse to spouse, extended family members, in whatever way or form that we might have felt love, because some have lost and they believe that is love. Some believe they're in love, but they're motivated by material gains. Some genuinely love, especially if the person that they love has been very good to them. For some, they feel pity, but mistake it for love. But in whatever way or form we have felt this, or believe that we have felt it, the love that is of God is pure and unmistakable. The fruits of the Spirit are very essential in the life of every child of God, and love particularly so. We see the attributes of love mentioned by Paul in his letter to the Corinthians. That's the first book of Corinthians, chapter 13, from verses 4 to 7. He gave several attributes of love in that passage. And in that particular chapter, he mentioned that love is more important than anything else, whether it be prophecy or any other gifts that we may have. And so love is essential. The Bible tells us that God is love, and His nature is intrinsically that of love. In any way you may look at it, even when He's chastising His children, is a sign of love. I say to people, it's more worrying when God decides to keep quiet than when He's still chastising. Because when He's quiet, that means that the situation has gone very far. And He has decided to watch, perhaps to take a definitive stand and action. Anyway, let's come back to love as a fruit of the Spirit. I said earlier that love that is of God is pure and unmistakable. And that's true. Because it's not achieved by human desires or human wants. It is something that is achieved only with the help of the Holy Spirit. This type of love is that which was seen in Stephen when he was being stoned to death. Even as he was being stoned to death, at the point of death, he was still praying for those who were persecuting him. We will see this account in the book of Acts, chapter 7, from verse 54 to verse 60. That's Acts chapter 7, from verse 54 to verse 60. When you love in this manner, you see beyond the physical, just as Stephen did in this particular passage mentioned earlier. In verse 55 to 56 of that passage, he was talking about seeing heaven open and seeing the Son of God on the right hand of God. And so when you have love as a fruit of the Holy Spirit, the pure love, the genuine love, because it's so close to your Father's nature, it gets you closer to see into the spirit realm. When you are leading, guiding, and mentoring brethren, you need love as a fruit of the Spirit, because it can be quite challenging to lead humans. People have their wants, they have their ways of understanding things, different cultures, different backgrounds, different ideas. And as you are leading them, they come up with these different ideas. Some don't understand and they fight you. Some will mistake what you have said and present it in a way that you didn't mean it to be presented. But when you have the love of the Holy Spirit in you, you keep loving them regardless. When you look at the accounts of the children of Israel leaving Egypt on their way to the promised land, as Moses led them, you will understand what I've just explained. Moses interceded for them. Moses did all he could. Essentially, his family were not there, but he wanted to fulfill the will of God, and so he carried on, sacrificed so much. Yet a lot of times they didn't understand. They would wonder why he was leading them. Why didn't he just leave them in Egypt? But Moses kept loving. It took a long time before he got angry with them. Now, you need this fruit to be able to lead the children of God to their desired destination. As in the desired destination that the Creator has earmarked for them. In whatever capacity you may be leading. You might not be a pastor, but you're a mother. You are leading the children of God. Those children that He has given unto you, they have a destination. And the Lord expects you to lead them there. Now, it is important also that as you evangelize, you have that love in your heart to reach out to lost souls. And evangelism is such an important part of our assignment here because it is the heartbeat of God. And so you have to love and reach out to them in love so that as many souls as possible can be won even with the help of the Holy Spirit. It is important to understand, as explained earlier, we're talking about brethren, we're talking about lost souls. We're not talking about demonic spirits because people mistake this. They feel it's part of being a child of God in spirit and in truth to be gentle with demonic spirits or people who are manifesting under the influence of this evil spirit. That is erroneous. The Lord was full of love. Jesus loved those around him, but he never tolerated evil spirits. Neither did Paul. In fact, he shot the damsel that was prophesying and going, coming after them in a particular place that he went to minister. He shot that spirit up. He didn't tolerate it at all. So should we not. As children of the living God, we must understand the difference between exhibiting love as a fruit of the Spirit and being weak. Loving the way that the Lord expects us to love is not an excuse to be weak. It's not an excuse to be inefficient in what He has called us to do. And so, when we need to rebuke sharply, we need to do that, just like Jesus did. Even when Peter spoke, he rebuked that spirit because he knew it was not Peter that was speaking. We must demarcate this and be the lamb and loving child of God that He expects us to be, but also be the lion and fierce child of God against the spirits that are contrary to what our kingdom is doing. I pray that the Holy Spirit would open up these words in our hearts in order to be able to get the balance right, even as He leads. He expects us to send spirits that are not of Him to the destination that the Holy Spirit will have us send them to. Love is very, very important because it helps you to tolerate your brethren even as they are growing. It helps you to keep encouraging them even as they're moving forward on their journey. As we said earlier, this is not achieved with human wants or desires. You have to be connected to the Holy Spirit. Effectively, you have to pray it into manifestation. In whatever way you are leading, you ask the Lord continually, help me to love the way that I should in this role that you have given me. Help me to lead the way that I should in this role that you have given me. Even at the point of acute persecution, as was seen with Stephen, help me to keep loving according to your will. It's a constant prayer. I pray that as we grow in Him, His love will continually increase in us. And we would start to exhibit this love as He expects us to. And we would win as many as He has earmarked for us to win to the kingdom in the time that He has earmarked for us to achieve them. In the mighty name of Jesus. Keep loving as Jesus did and still does, even as the Holy Spirit yokes on you. Have a wonderful week.